A lot of people think that their testimony isn't good enough or it's too boring to be shared with people. They were saved by Jesus at a young age. They weren't an atheist who turned into a Christian or a drug dealer who murdered someone and found God in the most unlikely place in a dark jail cell or something like that. And so they don't have a good story to tell people. I used to be one of these people, but now my view has changed because I've grown up and I've grown more mature. No matter how boring you may think your testimony is, it can still touch someone's heart. And it's still a story of how God worked in your life. God still wants you to share your story because it's a story of how He worked in your life. Here's my story. As a child, I grew up in a very religious home. Both my parents and their parents were all religious and had an amazing influence on my life when I was very young. Every Sunday we would go to church, and if we missed our church service, we would try to make it up. We could go Saturday night or maybe listen to a sermon online so that we could still listen to God's word on Sunday morning. And every Sunday we would go to Sunday school, and we would go to kids club on Wednesday nights so that we could still learn from God during the weeks, so that Sunday wasn't the only day that we would get nourishment. We would always go to all the special services that didn't happen on a Sunday, like Christmas Eve service and Thanksgiving service and the Monday Thursday service. Every time my parents talked to me about basically anything, they would always try to tie Christianity in so that I could learn from them and I could learn what God wanted from me in my life. And they told me how Jesus came to this world to die on a cross for me and to cleanse my sins so that I could get into heaven. I knew I needed Him. They told me that if I accepted Him in my heart, I would become a Christian and I would be able to get into heaven and it would save me from hell. So at age 5, I came to Christ as I was about to go to bed. So I was extremely happy as a child. I had a really great life. My parents, they never had a divorce or they never fought or anything like that, so it was really nice. There wasn't too much drama in my life. As I grew up, I continued to go to church every Sunday and do all the same things that I did as a child. I prayed every night and before every meal, and I went to youth group, and I went to Sunday school, and I didn't read the Bible much, though. And up until very recently, my faith was merely fire insurance. My faith in God provided me a ticket into heaven and saved me from the fiery pits of hell. I knew that I would get to heaven, and that was all my faith was for, basically, back then. I didn't really act on my faith at all. I mean, yeah, sure, I was still a believer, and I still went to church and youth group, and I prayed, but I didn't read the Bible very much or share my faith. I just went through the motions of Christianity. Did this make me a bad person? No, but I wasn't growing as a Christian. I was still a Christian, and I still acted like a Christian, and I knew that God still loved me. I just wasn't growing spiritually. Today, I still am not as close to God as I would like to be, and there's still much room for improvement and growth, but I'm in a much better place than I was when I was younger. I still don't read the Bible as much as I should or could, but I'm a very, very busy person, and I know that that's not an excuse, but I do try. I'm definitely at the best point I've ever been in my walk with God right now, but there always is room for improvement. As I look back on my life, I'm very grateful that God saved me at a very young age. While I don't have the most exciting testimony ever, God spared me from a lot of the drama that could have went on in my life. I never used drugs or joined a gang or robbed a bank or done any of the sinful stuff that a lot of the teenagers do nowadays. At one point in my life, I actually wanted something like that to happen so that I could just have this super amazing testimony where I'd find God in the most unlikely place, but I was so wrong in thinking that. While people who have ran away from their parents and drug dealers who turn into Christians and these atheists who just find God after a truly tragic event in their life, they do have amazing testimonies, but they also have a lot of physical and emotional baggage that they carry. They constantly live with the reminder that they once were that person, and they also could have physical baggage too. Ex-drug addicts still have the temptations of that past drug addiction. Luckily, for me, I don't have that kind of baggage, and I'm so happy that God saved me from all of that by revealing Himself to me at a young age. It's amazing how God can work, and he saved me at a very young age, so I'm very, very thankful for that. I hope this was uplifting. Thanks for listening.